We are talking about the Gingerdead Man from 2005. Is it awesome or awful? We're about to find out. Hey everybody, this is Mike from FearShop.com. Today we're talking about the Gingerdead Man from 2005. We're going to figure out if this movie is awesome or awful. Before we get into it, make sure you like this video right now. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Set up those notifications so you know when the next video drops. Make sure you're leaving comments. Let me know what you think about this movie. Let me know other movies you'd like me to cover, whether it's in the Awesome or Awful series or any kind of deep dives, top 10 list, franchise breakdowns. Let me know what you'd like to talk about. I have a hell of a time doing these videos. Just love talking horror, love doing some research to really dig in, bit of a nerd on that side of things. So today, the Gingerdead Man from 2005. I probably should apologize ahead of time. For some reason, the Gingerdead Man, that word of Gingerdead, is like a tongue twister to me, and I'll probably flub that one a few times in this video. So alright, an evil yet adorable gingerbread man comes to life with the soul of a convicted killer. This real-life cookie monster wreaks havoc on the girl who sent the killer to the electric chair. The Gingerdead Man's a horror comedy slash spoof slasher. It spawned multiple sequels, cult following, spin-off movies. The film relied on cheap special effects, cheap one-liners, and hot girls. I mean, that pretty much was the formula. And gauging on how many sequels and spin-offs that we had, like Gingerdead versus Evil Bong and all that, the series didn't do that bad for itself. So like all these awesome or awful videos, we're basically going to list out the awesome elements. We're going to list out the awful elements, and then whichever side has more, we come to a verdict on whether or not the film is awesome or awful. So let's dig into the Gingerdead Man. See, I told you. Gingerdead Man. And let's talk about some of the awesome elements of the movie. Gary Busey can be fun to watch most of the time. Another awesome element is Robin Sidney is easy on the eyes. When I mention awesome facts like this, I'm stretching things a little. Another awesome element. How much dough can you make from a talking cookie? The puns are real in this one. Another awesome elements. The one-liners are hit and miss, but some end up becoming highlights of the film. Got milk is a great line. It sure ain't the Pillsbury effing doughboy. We got homicidal baked goods after us. Some of it sounds so bad, coming from me. But it's part of the film. It's just one of those films if you're able to have a little bit of fun with it, I think you'd enjoy it quite a bit. Another awesome element, again, this shows that I'm really stretching. It's a short film. I mean, the film clocks in at 70 minutes. For a film like this, I'll take the short run time. I would hate to see an extra 20 minutes added to this film just for the hell of it. I honestly don't know what they would have done with it. I mean, at the end of the day, you're literally talking about a walking, talking gingerbread cookie that kills people. So it's tough. I mean, when you weigh that against, like, say, the plot of The Godfather, there's a little bit of a difference probably between those two movies. So, all in all, that's all my awesome elements. I will say I was kind of surprised I even had that many, because it's tough. Right? So awful elements. Okay, wherever you are, I hope they have strippers and Lone Star. Like, who writes this? And not even that. It was a girl talking about her lost brother. So it's just, like, very weird that she would say something like that. It's just like, I will say I don't think I've ever thought of saying something like that about anybody, but I didn't write this stuff. Alright, so another awful element. And this one, Yeesh. Okay, random person in a black cloak delivers a pack of gingerbread seasoning that they just happened to possibly order. That was really never made clear. They decide to use it right away. Sarah tells herself to calm down because it's just a delivery person. You know, because every delivery person wears a black hooded cloak and drops things out without signatures or return addresses on the boxes or shipping addresses for that matter. You know, this happens all the time. On top of that, another awful element, it just so happens that Findlemeyer's ashes were mixed with blood, which happens to bring him back to life. Of all of the crazy series of events that had to happen, they actually did. Findlemeyer's electrocuted, then cremated so his ashes could be sent to his mother, and then the ashes were sent to the bakery. They just so happened to mix with blood. On top of that, there's this cat fight between the two hotties that causes a power surge, and Findlemeyer is brought back to life. I mean, talk about a perfect series of events. That's amazing. Another awful element, Brick the Baker, is incredibly stupid. Forget all the nonsense about, WrestlePalooza or whatever it was called. He's checking on the gingerbread dough mix, doesn't notice there's blood, obviously swirled into the mix. It's not like he just peeks in and checks on it. It's not really noticeable or anything. It's obvious. There's blood streaks all over the place, and somehow he didn't catch it. Another awful element. For a movie billed as a comedy, there is little to no comedy. I will say that. Another awful element. For no reason whatsoever, the Gingerdead Man starts a verbal argument with a rat. Thankfully, it was a very short scene, but it was just one of those elements where you're like, what the hell is going on right now? It was just very weird. Another awful element, and definitely a pet peeve of mine, for a slasher film, there is very little killing. So, that's all the awful elements. I mean, to be honest, I probably could have really nitpicked and really, had twice or three times the amount of items on the awful side. But at the end of the day, we do already have more awful elements than awesome elements. So the verdict on the Gingerdead Man is that it is awful. As far as cheap thrills go, the film is most definitely a fun film for the most part, but it is downright awful. I am appalled at how many times I've watched this movie. It's funny, I'm actually in the middle of going through all of the Gingerdead movies now. I just had a hankering. So I watched the first one, decided to record a video, kind of a reaction to it. So, it is a far from perfect movie. It starts to get even stranger, if you can believe that or not, in the sequels. And very tough movies. The original one definitely is a little bit more memorable than the other ones. So I'll give it that. And, could be more memorable because there's a bunch of hot ladies in it. But, at the end of the day, it's a slasher movie without very much killing and a horror comedy without very much comedy. So it misses on a few accounts there. So in the comments below, let me know what you think of the Gingerdead Man. Is it awesome or is it awful? So that wraps this video up. I want to hear from you. Post your thoughts on this video. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you share this video. Make sure you subscribe. But most of all, make sure you keep it horror.